So today I'd love to tell you a story in the Bible all about when Jesus healed one of his friends. Now there was once a man who was very, very sick. He was so sick he couldn't even walk. He just had to lie in his bed all day. Now that wouldn't be nice, would it? But luckily for this man, he had 4 very good friends, and they would go to him lots and check on how he was doing and see how he was feeling. Now one day they heard that Jesus was teaching in a house nearby. Now when Jesus taught, everyone wanted to hear what he was saying. So as you can see, it was very busy. In fact, it was so full of people listening to Jesus that people had to crowd outside of the house. Now when the friends heard that Jesus would be there, they thought, we must get our sick friend and take him to Jesus at Capernaum because we know that he might be able to make him better. So they went to their sick friend and they brought with them a mat. And they helped put their sick friend in the mat because he couldn't walk, so they'd have to carry him. So they put him inside. And they all took one corner each and picked up the mat and started taking their sick friend to Jesus. So they went all the way to the house where Jesus was teaching, but can you see the problem here? They couldn't get inside. However much they tried, there was no way they were going to get the man in there. So they thought, what do we do? And what do you think those friends did? Do you think they said, we give up, we're just going to go home? Or do you think they thought of another way? Well, they did. They picked up their sick friend and they carried him around the side and up towards the roof. Now this is a bit of a tricky bit because of course they had to get rid of the roof, so they managed to shift some of those roof tiles out of the way and they took their friend and they could see Jesus is inside. This one's Jesus here. And so they took their sick friend and they gradually lowered him on his mat through the roof. So the friends lowered him down. There he is. So he could go, and their friend was right at Jesus's feet. Everyone was amazed. What was going on? And Jesus saw this sick friend and he said, your sins are forgiven. Now, the people in the room shook their heads and said, Jesus can't forgive sins. Only God can forgive sins. And Jesus said, I have seen the faith of these 4 friends. They were so kind and determined to get their sick friend to me to make him better. And because I, Jesus, am also God, I can forgive sins. But he knew the people around, they still weren't sure, they were shaking their heads. And so he said, I'm going to prove this to you. And he said to the man who couldn't walk, get up, take your mat, and you'll be able to walk. And do you know what happened? Immediately the sick man jumped up from his mat. Woo! He could walk, he rolled it up, popped it under his arm. And Jesus said, leave and your sins are forgiven. And so he had to push his way a bit, but he made his way out the temple. And his friends were so happy because Jesus had made their friend well again. The end.